Hi Sarah, how are you feeling today?
Same old, same old.
Okay, so I know you've been in shelter for about 2 weeks, and I know we've met once before. Um, why don't you tell me a little bit of what brought you here?
Well, I got in a little argument with my boyfriend, and I got a couple bruises, and he hit me around, but I mean, it's just a little argument. I'm court ordered to be here. I shouldn't be here.
So you don't feel like you should be here, even though you and your boyfriend got, physical with each other?
No, it happens all the time. It's just a little slapping, knocking. No big deal.
Okay. So I know you've been in shelter for about 2 weeks now, and I've heard a few reports from Shift Change that you're having a little bit of difficulties with other clients here and some of the staff here. What's going on with that?
I shouldn't be here. I don't get along with them because I don't have nothing in common with them.
Yeah. What? Tell me about your past. What has caused you to be in this current state that you're in now?
I mean, my whole life there's been men around. My mom had men come in and out all the time. And I mean, between her drug addiction and her men addiction, I kind of just learned from that. So, been like that my whole life. And a little slapping doesn't hurt me. Just, that's it.
So it sounds like what you're saying is you were raised to be kind of dependent in relationships.
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah.
Okay. And um, how many times have you been in relationships where it's violent?
Every single one of them.
I don't know what just happened. My computer turned green. Anyways, so every single relationship that you've been in there's been some type of violence.
Yes.
During your biopsychosocial assessment that we did last week, you informed me that you have an addiction to heroin, and that you use regularly, and that you don't feel like you need treatment, nor does it impact you as a mother or you as a person in the community. What?
Use it, I just can get away.
So what I'm hearing is the reason you use heroin is to get away, to escape.
Yeah.
What are you escaping?
Just his actions sometimes. I don't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
It leads to that little physical activity I just use to get away.
Yeah. That's understandable. Um, so, the aggression with other residents and staff is, we don't really accept that in shelter. So, what we're going to be doing with our meetings is we're going to meet twice a week and we're going to do cognitive behavior therapy. And so what that's going to look like is we're going to meet and we're going to do a few interventions and a few assessments to really dig into your anger and your aggression that you portray to other residents and staff. Have you always had an issue with anger and aggression?
Yeah. My whole family's got that.
Got anger and aggression issues? Okay.
They say we bipolar, but we ain't.
And do you have a bipolar diagnosis?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And are you on any current medications right now, or do you just use heroin to cope with that?
I don't need medications. I got my good drugs.
Okay. When you get angry and upset and lash out at some of the residents and staffs, do you ever think about being physical, or is it more just verbal?
It's verbal, but some of those girls are going to get physical one day if they keep running their mouth.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we don't want that. So why don't we talk about a few interventions that could possibly help you with your negative thoughts and your aggression and anger? How does that sound?
Okay.
I know it sounds hard, and I know it's probably going to be tedious, but for you to succeed in shelter and for you to, be able to do case advocacy and case management, we really need to take your negative thoughts and turn them into positive thoughts, and get maybe some pleasant activities involved while you're in shelter to help you with your aggression and anger, and maybe help you realize that you might need some treatment while you're in here.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one we're going to use is the CBT thought record. So I'm going to explain this to you just a little bit. This first little thing right here is, where were you when you were feeling this negative thought? Were you in shelter, outside of shelter? Were you in your room, in the kitchen? And so I want you to specify that. The emotion or feeling. This emotion can be described with one word. So if you were angry or upset, stressed, anxious, anything, I want you to document that. Second one is the negative automatic thought. And this is the thoughts that were going through your mind, and what memories or images were you seeing when you were feeling that emotion. Evidence that supports that thought is the next column. And I want you to tell me facts that support why you feel that way. And then evidence that does not support that thought is what experiences indicate that this thought is not completely true. And then the alternate thought is what's another way that you could think about the situation that you're going through. And then your alternate emotion or feeling, how do you feel once you've completed this thought record? And how do you feel once you've actually processed the facts of why you're feeling so upset? Does it support why you're upset? And how you evaluated that whole process. So what you're going to do is you're going to document every emotion that you're feeling. And then I want you to evaluate it. And this could take 5 minutes. This could take 30 minutes. But I really want you to utilize this daily. And then every time you come in with me twice a week, we're going to evaluate your emotions and go through each one and see if it had any impact on your day-to-day aggression and anger towards treatment and towards residents and staff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this overwhelming, or are you just irritated with the assessment?
Just irritated.
Yeah. And that's a normal feeling when coming into shelter, especially that you're court mandated and this isn't something that you really wanted to do. But this thought record is really going to show you how you're feeling throughout the day and how you can evaluate what's going through your mind. So the second tool that we're going to use, the second assessment that we're going to use, is the pleasant activity schedule. So here in shelter, we have the garden, and we have the farm, and we have the paint room, and the arts and crafts room. And there's a ton of different activities that you can do throughout the day to kind of get your mind off, the court proceedings and treatment and everything like that. So what I want you to do is I want you to document the different activities that are pleasant to you. Right now, I know that you say using heroin is the only thing that brings you happiness, and getting drunk with your boyfriend and hanging out with your kids is the only thing that brings you happiness. But I want you to try to do some things outside of the box. I want you to find different activities that you normally wouldn't do if you were outside of shelter and see how they make you feel. So right here in this activity, right here in this column, it says activity. I want you to list some of the activities that you could do here in shelter that could bring you some type of joy. And I want you to mark X's by each day that you utilize that pleasant activity. And so each time you put an X, that week we're going to evaluate each activity and if that brought you joy, how you were feeling during that time, and then we're going to correlate it back to the thought record. When you were doing this pleasant activity, were you still feeling angry and aggressive, or were you feeling positive and maybe happy? So we do have a ton of horses out here on the farm. Maybe working in the stables could be a pleasant activity, and it could help you get your mind off a few things. How does that sound?
I'll try it.
Yeah? Okay. So these two things are what you're going to do throughout the week, okay? And then each time we meet, we're going to go over it. So how are you feeling on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being angry, 10 being happy about these two assessment tools?
5.
A 5? Okay, tell me a little bit why you're feeling just a 5.
I mean, I don't really want to do it, so it's just I feel like I'm getting pushed to do it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like horses. I don't want to go play with them.
Okay. Do you want to maybe just try one of the activities for a week or two and then see?
There's nothing here that I like.
Okay. Do you like music?
I mean, rap when I'm with my boyfriend and we're getting drunk.
Okay. Do you like to write?
No.
Okay. Do you like, what about playing with kids? You say you love being with your kids.
I love my kids.
What if you went into our nursery and maybe just sat in there with some of the babies and just held them and played with them for a few hours a day?
I can do that.
Okay. Would that bring you some joy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could document that as a pleasant activity, maybe working in the nursery during shelter. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Sounds good? Okay. So I know that you're upset that you're here, and I know that you're angry, but I really want these intervention tools to really help you find alternate thoughts and to really help with your defiant thinking and your anger and aggression towards staff and maybe towards yourself, because I feel like you're kind of angry towards yourself that you're in this situation. So if you have any concerns at all, I want you to come to me and we will... Did it freeze? If you have any concerns or any worries at all, I want you to come to me and we can reevaluate that. And if you don't feel like these tools are useful, we can go back in next week and we can maybe find some other assessments. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, let's meet next week. How does same time work for you next Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll do 6 p.m. next Tuesday. You bring your pleasant activity sheet and your thought record, and we'll go from there, okay?
Okay.